Everyone thought that house was a dream. White walls, a manicured lawn, smiling children in matching clothes. But behind that front door was a life so controlled, so silent, that even screaming felt forbidden. My name isn't important. What matters is the girl at the center of this story. Let's call her Emily Carter. Emily was born in 1999, the third of 10 children, growing up in a quiet suburban town in Southern California. Her parents were known as devout, strict, and old-fashioned. Neighbors described them as disciplined but loving. Teachers barely knew the children because the children almost never went to school. Emily's parents believed the outside world was dangerous. They said public schools were corrupt, hospitals were untrustworthy, friends were distractions, so the children stayed inside, always inside. From a young age, Emily learned rules mattered more than feelings. Meals were earned, not given. Bathroom breaks were timed. Speaking without permission was punished. The older siblings were told it was their responsibility to control the younger ones, and Emily, quiet, observant, obedient, became very good at disappearing. But here's the thing. Emily loved numbers. She counted steps between rooms. She memorized schedules. She kept time in her head. That habit, something her parents never noticed, would later save her life. As the years passed, the rules grew harsher. Locks appeared on doors. Windows were sealed shut. Lights went out early, even during summer. Food became scarce. Emily remembers one night when her youngest brother cried from hunger. Her mother responded by tightening his restraints and calling it discipline. Outside, the house still looked perfect. Inside, time stopped, and fear became routine. Emily's days blurred together. Wake at dawn, chores before breakfast, lessons from outdated textbooks, more chores, dinner if behavior was acceptable, sleep in cramped rooms with siblings who had learned not to cry. But Emily kept counting. She counted the boards on the ceiling, the cracks in the wall, the seconds between her father's angry outbursts. Numbers became her anchor to reality. When Emily was 16, something changed. A church volunteer, Mrs. Linda Harris, began visiting once a month. She brought donated clothes, sometimes canned food. Emily noticed something important. Mrs. Harris always asked questions, quiet ones, careful ones. And every time she visited, Emily slipped her something small, a drawing, a note, once, just once, a folded calendar page with dates circled. Mrs. Harris smiled each time, but she never said anything, at least not yet. On a cold night in January 2018, everything broke. Emily had been awake for hours, counting breaths. Her parents were asleep. The front door was unlocked. It had never been unlocked before. Emily grabbed her youngest sister's hand. They ran, barefoot, in the dark, down a street they had only seen through windows. A neighbor called 911. Police arrived. And for the first time, Emily said words she had rehearsed in her head for years. Please don't send us back. The children were separated, placed in foster care. News headlines called it a miracle, but miracles don't always last. Emily soon realized something terrifying. The system that saved them wasn't prepared to protect them. Some siblings were moved repeatedly, others were neglected. Therapy was promised but rarely delivered. School was overwhelming after years of isolation. Promises were made and broken. Mrs. Harris testified in court. She admitted she had suspected abuse, but she had waited because she wasn't sure. Emily stopped speaking for months. Today Emily is 26. She works with data, numbers again. She tracks patterns in child welfare failures. She speaks at closed-door policy meetings. Not loudly but precisely, because she knows something most people don't. Escaping the house was only the first battle. Surviving the aftermath was the real one. If you think freedom ends at rescue, you've never lived a life where silence was enforced. Some homes hide horror behind perfection, and some survivors don't just escape. They remember, they count, and one day they change the system that failed them. This story is a fictionalized dramatization inspired by publicly reported cases. Names, characters, locations, and specific details have been changed for educational and narrative purposes. No direct representation of any individual is intended. If stories like this matter to you, if you believe hidden truths deserve to be heard, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories to light. See you in the next shocking true twist.